A defining moment for President Trump. Will the United States stand shoulder to shoulder with Israel in a strike against Iran's nuclear program?
While the president has yet to make a decision, he's meeting in the Situation Room to discuss the options, including the idea of a diplomatic solution to help end the conflict between the two nations.
Yeah, the escalation comes as Iran and Israel exchanging yet another round of missile fire. Today, Iran launching a barrage of missiles toward Israel's territory, while Israel responded with a targeted strike on what it claims is Iran's National Police headquarters. CBS 12 News has team coverage tonight. Reporter Atra Al-Nashar is breaking down the very latest on the conflict.
But first, hundreds of Americans on Birthright trips have been evacuated by sea, escorted by the Israeli Navy to Cyprus to catch a flight home, including one of CBS 12 News' own producers. As our Katie Benty reports, not everyone is getting out as promised.
Our producer Sam Sullivan is in the air tonight. He's headed home, but more than 1,000 others who spent their last week running to bomb shelters are still stuck in Cyprus. And that includes a cantor from Tennessee who told me over the phone how this trip has changed everything. A warm welcome and a moment to breathe after days of running to bomb shelters.
We've spent the last week going to bomb shelters every single night and barely getting any sleep, so at least we all got to sleep on the boat.
Cantor Josh Goldberg from Nashville was one of more than 1,000 Americans evacuated from Israel by sea, escorted by the Israeli Navy to Cyprus. His group had been volunteering in Tel Aviv, helping displaced families, until everything changed.
We literally heard and felt the shake of the building when we were running down to the shelter.
They boarded the Crown Iris, expecting to fly home on planes arranged by Governor Ron DeSantis. But only one plane arrived.
We don't really know what happened. We just know now they're trying to book us on commercial flights, but trying to book 1,000 people on flights is obviously extremely difficult.
Tonight, Goldberg's group is staying at a Chabad center in Larnaca. Meanwhile, our CBS 12 News producer Sam Sullivan, on a Birthright trip to Israel, did get out. He sent us these photos Wednesday en route to Lisbon, then Florida. But just days earlier, he was here.
It's a bomb shelter / synagogue. It's all put into one. Yeah, they've got these big doors right here.
2 floors under his Jerusalem hotel, hiding out as Iran retaliated for Israel's strike on nuclear targets.
We were just going to bed, me, my brother, my roommate, and then it's like you're shooting back up like, okay, like this is it right now. Like we have to go right now. There's no hesitation. This isn't a joke.
Tonight, their once-in-a-lifetime trip turned into something they never could have planned for.
We were volunteering for that. We didn't know we were volunteering to witness history.
Sullivan is expected to land back in Florida tonight. Meanwhile, Cantor Goldberg's group remains in Cyprus, waiting for news on flights, but they're feeling safer. They say that this week has changed them all, and no matter when they do get home, they'll never forget where they were when history unfolded. In the newsroom, I'm Katie Benty, CBS 12 News.
Meantime, as Israel and Iran near 1 week of exchanging fire, the world is watching to see if President Donald Trump orders U.S. forces to strike Iranian targets. Atra Al-Nashar reports from Washington.
President Trump publicly tiptoeing around the idea of striking Iran.
You don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
Hours earlier, Israel's Air Force carrying out strikes in Tehran. President Trump says this has been his message to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
So keep going.
Iran is not a nation to surrender, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei says in this video address. And he says America getting involved in this would be 100% to its detriment. President Trump Wednesday morning in real time seeming to change his stance on whether the time has passed to reach a nuclear deal with Iran.
Really, nothing's too late.
Have the Iranians reached out to you?
Yes.
And what did you say?
I said it's very late. You know?
Within minutes, Iran's mission to the United Nations posted on X, the only thing more despicable than his lies is his cowardly threat to take out Iran's supreme leader. Iran does not negotiate under duress, shall not accept peace under duress, and certainly not with a has-been warmonger clinging to relevance. Should the president decide to strike, America's likely target with its so-called bunker-busting bombs would be Iran's underground Fordo nuclear site. Vice Chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner, says there's no guarantee of success.
We're not even sure that using the bunker buster bombs that can only be delivered by American aircraft, whether even that alone could take out the nuclear facilities. I've heard reports that it would actually take troops on the ground.
Politically, the president does not have the full backing of his own party should he choose to strike Iran. There's a stark and vocal split between those who say Trump needs to live up to his campaign promise of no new wars, and those who say Iran had their chance at peace and the president needs to do what it takes to prevent them from obtaining a nuclear weapon. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar.